Welcome into the Sports Buffoons podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the world, welcome on in back again, finally again, to the Sports Buffoon studios here at Lenexa, Kansas, of course, here at Tanner's mom's backyard.
Yeah, that's right.
And,
Smoking on Dad's smoker.
We are back after a few days away, a few weeks away, due to some unforeseen events going on with us personally.
Jeez,
but
man.
you know, luckily we're all good, I think, and I think we're all healthy again.
Yep,
so
back at it.
that's the important part, and we got a lot to talk about, of course. But starting off, we got JG to my far left over here, and Tanner Dawson to the middle.
What's up,
So,
guys?
what's going on? What you guys been up to, man? We just had Christmas 3 days ago.
We're still doing Christmases here.
Mike
Still
and I were
doing
sick
Christmas.
for
Jesus.
Mike and I were sick for about 6 weeks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the whole sickness I had last week threw us all in
we
a
had
loop.
we had the vid and RSV and another that I still don't know what the name of it is, but we had like 3 different things going on at the same
Yeah,
time.
it was some crazy stuff, and then Tanner had his own problems. So
I had
luckily
my own sickness for a week, so
we're all good now at this point, I would say. But yeah, how'd you guys have a good Christmas? I know you said you're still doing stuff. That's crazy, man. It's like
yeah.
to me, after that 25th
we were
is over, then we
were
move on.
trying to wrap some stuff last week, but of course, after I got sick, Kiri got sick, Tinsley got sick, so you know, it's just the way it works in the household. So
Some stuff got pushed back. Then is what you're saying?
yep, some stuff got pushed back. So
All right. What about you, Jason?
Christmas was fantastic. I got a bunch of different things, including some lottery tickets.
that's cool.
I was able to win $14 off of my my scratcher tickets, so that was pretty amazing.
So what are you buying with that $14 in crypto?
In crypto right now, I'd probably just have to stick with the basics. I'd buy some more Bitcoin.
Oh, okay.
Oh, with $14?
Yeah,
I would
yep.
probably go with Cum Rocket Coin. Would be what I would choose. Just you
Or-
never know, because I mean that thing's either going to shoot up or it's going to go nowhere and dribble out. So
Yeah, if I wanted higher upside, I'd go with Pepe,
Pepe,
the Pepe
Okay.
meme coin.
I was going to say Bitcoin. You might get an ROI on that one of $28. Maybe it'll double, but you got to think of the blast offs, and that's probably the route you want to go on those at this point. But that's all right. We got some time before the real crypto blast off begins. So
That's right.
I'm sure we'll have more discussions about that in the future. But man. We are now at the end of this thing for the Chiefs' regular season for the most part. I would say going into next week, the starters will not be playing, so which is great news because, guys, when we saw this 3 games in 11 days schedule come out, we thought for sure we'd lose at least one of those games just for the fact that it's not easy to do that. It's not easy to be prepared and be ready and have a game plan for each of these games whenever they're that congested.
I think it helped that the other teams had the same path, right?
The Steelers played the same days.
It worked out. Steelers play the same days. Ravens play the same days. Texans play the same days. So I think it helped out in that sense.
Right.
That the better prepared team was going to be winning the games.
Were you guys surprised, though, to see the Chiefs, who normally don't blow teams out, just go into Pittsburgh and just really destroy them and have their way with them?
That's what I think the 3 games in 11 days did for the Chiefs. It made our offense better. It gave us a little bit more chemistry, helped us click. You're playing that many games in a short amount of time, the chemistry is going to get there eventually, and I think that's what happened for them, so it was a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the things I want to point out over the last few weeks is that the Chiefs actually have been using more of a quick passing game with Mahomes after taking so many sacks. He's over 40 sacks on the season. But here in these last few games, they've been about 2.5 seconds release time for Mahomes in these last few games.
Yeah.
It's been quick hitters, running some RPOs, which means you got to get the ball out fast and things like that. I have some crazy stats for you guys, as a matter of fact, just for a career breakdown of Mahomes. So this last game against the Steelers, his average time to throw was 2.34 seconds, which was the fastest in his career. But if you sort all of Mahomes' starts by time to throw historically, he is 14-0 in his 14th quickest, 30-31 in his 31 quickest, and 67-5 in his 72 quickest. Now, when he has a slower time to throw, he's 1-8 and 6-11. So just to put that in perspective, I mean, it makes sense if you think about his time at Texas Tech too, where it was quick passing game, hitting the screens, obviously, hitting some of the quick hitters, the slants, and just the hitch routes, those kind of things, getting the ball out fast. And it's back to the basics of what he does well. And really, if that read's not there, you saw him use his legs again. It didn't matter if he's got a hurt ankle or not. He's running again really well.
I mean, let's be real. High ankle sprain, 3rd year, 4th year now. So we all know. But how big of an impact, though, based off those stats you just said, since Hollywood Brown's been back? I think that's helped improve the confidence that has gone on with Mahomes and kind of where we want to see it.
Yeah, I agree. Hollywood's been a nice addition so far. We all thought he would be, and I think it just nothing else. It just adds another element to the team of a veteran presence at the receiving group and talented. He's got the speed, so he'll be healthy for January, which is all that we really cared about.
That's right. Scott Cobb out here in the comments says, "Hey, I like the new show, The Buffoons in the Backyard."
In the backyard and then the swing set. So.
Hey, we got the smoker going, guys.
That's the thing. I don't know where some of you guys listening are from, but here in KC right now, it is 50-something degrees.
It's like 50.
Right at 50 degrees.
50?
I mean, it feels amazing. And there's like almost no wind, but it just sitting in the sun feels pretty dang nice.
Amazing.
So that is a great thing. But before we jump further into NFL and Chiefs, I did want to mention one thing about Christmas Day one more time, is that someone was a little peeved, I think, in the NBA recently about some of the viewership, or just kind of the way that the NFL is now starting to take over not only Thanksgiving, but now Christmas Day. And next year they play on Thursday, by the way, so it'll be even more. But Mr. LeBron James had something to say about that. Do you remember exactly what LeBron said, Jason, regarding NBA and NFL and Christmas Day?
Yeah, basically he just said that, it doesn't matter if you play NFL games on on Wednesday or not, or on Christmas Day or not, we still own the NBA. So LeBron, I didn't really take him seriously. I think he was probably saying it in jest, but he tried to say it with a straight face, just trying to say, no matter what you guys do in the NFL, we own the day no matter what. And I think, historically, that's true. I mean, if you're a traditionalist, or if you're even an NBA fan, which those people are dwindling by the second, but if you're a traditional NBA fan, absolutely. They are going to own the day, for basically till the end of time. But, the NBA viewership is down 58% since 2014 or 2012, I think it was. And which, we could talk about how bad the commissioner is and all that stuff, or, the things that the NBA stands for. That's a topic for another day. But the fact is viewership's going down. So at the end of the day, whatever days that you used to own, whether it be Christmas Day or otherwise, now you don't own shit. It's all about the NFL. And so it's pretty sad, actually, because I've been an NBA fan my whole life, and I always will be. There's nothing that these idiots can do to wreck the game for me, but that's not the way the viewers, the rest of America thinks of this. And so their viewership is getting wrecked, and I personally don't think that they own the day. I mean, I think NFL viewership on Wednesday was probably just as high as it's ever been.
I got the stats right here. So Ari Mirov at My Sports Update there, big insider there. The NFL NBA viewership numbers for their Christmas games, NFL on Netflix alone right now, including local channels, Netflix alone, Chiefs Steelers generated 24.1 mil, and the Ravens Texans generated 24.3 mil. And then you have the NBA on all 5 games on that day. Knicks Spurs 4.9 mil, Celtics Sixers 5.1 mil, Timberwolves Mavs 4.3 mil, Lakers Warriors 7.7, and the Nuggets Suns 3.8.
You think it's just because it's a little diluted, the NBA itself at this point?
Well, there was this top response comment on the tweet, right? He goes, "Hey Ari, having the NFL on during the Xmas is like a dentist office playing Dr. Phil. Inflated numbers. Basketball is not background sound; it's actual fans. I'd say 20% of the NFL numbers are who actually tuned in. Understand statistics is important here." I kind of don't believe that. Like,
so
you're
hang
not
on.
hopping on Netflix to watch the NFL just to have it in the background.
No, it's almost the opposite of that. Like,
Yes.
if you're going to have the NBA on, that's more of you can catch a glimpse here and there of what's going on in the game. Where like watching an NFL game, most of the time, you want to see the story unfold. It's an important part of watching football. Is
Yeah.
it tells a story.
And these
Every
were
game
these
does.
were in playoff impactful games. Like they weren't just
Right. Right,
the,
it was all
the
good teams
Seahawks,
involved.
Bears on Thursday Night Football.
Well, it was all
this
good
is
teams
actual
involved.
games.
Now, if you put like for instance, if you just took randomly the Falcons and Bears and had the game,
Yeah.
your viewership was not going to be quite the same. But what was
No.
the top NBA game?
Yeah,
You
the
know,
top
it was
NBA
still
game
fifth.
was the Lakers Warriors at 7.7.
So 7. Okay, so a fourth
Steph versus
essentially.
LeBron.
Okay, so I don't know. It's one of those things to me. I think the most popular sport in the country is the NFL and football, and that's just how it is now.
What are they going to do next year? Next year's
Well,
a Thursday.
it's on
guys.
Thursday, which is traditionally
You
an
know,
NFL day.
you know that what that means, right? That's a full slate day right there. We're gonna have 3 games on a Thursday for
Yeah.
Christmas,
Right.
and now they're really gonna get butthurt when you have a noon game, a 3:30 game, and a 6-7 o'clock game.
Yeah.
And so, does NBA? Pat McAfee mentioned this earlier this week. Does NBA move to Christmas Eve?
Eve? I don't
Eve.
think. I think trying to run away from the NFL is not the answer.
Just
I think
saying.
just get basically understanding that this is just the way the world is right now. And the NBA, could do themselves some favors too. I think, and we've talked about the physicality of the sport, how that's kind of dwindled away, and we don't have the enforcers we used to have anymore within the game. And football's changed too, obviously. But I just think when you have an NBA game on, and you're just seeing a bunch of teams do the same things and run the same style of offense, and it just gets a little old maybe.
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
the biggest thing the NBA can do to improve is just to get rid of these old heads like LeBron and Steph. These guys are way past their prime. And I think people are they're getting burned out on LeBron and Steph and all these older players every year. And we need a new face of the league, if you want to know the truth, because in the NFL, you've got young quarterbacks that are studs all over the place, whereas in the NBA, it's just like, well, who are we going to watch today? Well, you got LeBron and Steph. Well, people are burned out on it, and I think that we need some new blood in the NBA, and like we do have some young stars, but a lot of them are foreign stars. They're not
Right.
like guys that came from the United States, and so that's one reason among
It's
a
'cause your
lot of
US
different
guys
reasons
are
why
hurt.
people are losing interest.
Their U.S. guys are hurt, right? Zion was supposed to be that new face.
Yeah, but I mean, you got
can't do it.
your up and comer, your biggest stars right now are Luka and SGA, and those guys are foreigners.
And
And
Luka's
so
out for at least a
I
month.
think if I could travel back in time, when I was young, I wanted to see guys from this country that kind of worked their way up through the ranks, played in college, and now it's just like there's a lot of people from other countries.
That's probably what made LeBron
And
such an
kids don't
icon early on.
necessarily identify with that.
I think LeBron early on was very identifiable because he was a supreme athlete from Ohio, and basically you were getting to see what everyone knew at the time was future greatness, and he already had a huge. He was like Superman, coming right out.
I
As
mean,
an
he
18-year-old.
was, right? I mean,
It was
could you-
huge.
He took a crappy Cavs team twice to the finals, right? So
Yeah, and that was exciting to
Uh,
watch as a young
we saw him
fan.
come back. Like the worst team when he came back to Cleveland, they were the worst team the previous year. Pretty much the same roster, and came back and led them to a title. So, like the guy has had a phenomenal career. He's still a big name, but like you said too, like the new blood has to.
They need
come in
superstars again in the NBA.
somewhere.
Yeah, and right now all you have, like your biggest American star right now is Anthony Edwards, and he's not a LeBron James.
And
He's not up there.
LeBron. No, he's not. But phenomenal to watch. But yeah, you're right. He's not no LeBron. So
And he plays for Minnesota, so nobody's going to watch him anyway. So
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump on over to some Chiefs talk for a bit before we hit on our NFL playoff implications. But just let's for a minute, because we haven't been on for a few weeks, and kind of recap a little bit just how leading up to these last 3 weeks, the Chiefs defense was kind of a question mark for a while, and it's funny how fast things can change, especially when coaches can put together some amazing changes and adapt to what the personnel is out in the field. And we were kind of concerned for a bit. Jalen Watson being gone was really hurting the
By the
secondary.
way, did you see his freaking video?
Well, I think he's coming
Oh
back.
my lord,
I think
that
he's
guy's
coming back.
returning for the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. But that, and then the offense started to look like it's got some juice to it again. And then Pacheco coming back. I think keeping Kareem Hunt fresh has been really, really nice and helpful because he was getting worn down leading up to that. And so we haven't been on since all that happened. Now the Chiefs currently as of this moment right now, have the number 1 ranked defense in opponents' points per game allowed at 18 on the dot. Who would have thought that would be the case just a few weeks ago when we thought things were starting to unravel a little bit? The sacks, the pressures are coming up now. Mike Dana's making plays. George Karlaftis making plays. You go out there against the Steelers and shut them down without Chris Jones. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
You know why?
It's coming alive.
It's coming alive. What came alive at the same time? What came alive at the exact same time? The offense came alive.
Yeah.
The offense started clicking.
A couple.
Hollywood Brown returned. Pacheco returned. And again, I've said this on all the shows here. You notice when you have a good defense, but your offense can't move the damn ball to save their lives, what happens to the defense? They get tired. They get run down. They can't stop everything, right?
If you remember earlier in the season, too, Mahomes had like 7 weeks in a row with a turnover, with an interception. And now he's not doing that. I mean, the guy over the last, if you've noticed, 7 games or so, doesn't. I think he's had 1 turnover in the last 7 games or something like that.
And I think he's like top 6 in a majority of the stats, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unlike a guy named Josh Allen, but anyways.
And a big shout-out kudos to the guy that seems like it totally goes under the radar every year, but is amazing, but Joe Tooney. And the work he's done.
Phenomenal.
Going from left guard, an all-pro left guard, to now playing like an all-pro left tackle.
He hasn't allowed a sack.
And he whooped Myles Garrett pretty well. T.J. Watt obviously plays on the other side quite a bit, but guys, he has been an amazing.
Willie Anderson.
Yeah, just amazing. What Joe Tooney's done for this roster.
And he's not causing penalties. That's the best part about it, right? He's not.
Jawan Taylor does that for everybody.
Yeah, he's freaking Taylor. But, like, Tooney, like, that's what he's doing, man. He's playing all-pro caliber. Like, why are we rushing? You don't need to rush Humphreys. You don't need to rush Humphreys. Caliendo stepped into the left guard spot. Like, there's nothing missing on that left side at all.
Right.
You can't even tell a difference, right?
At this point, I try to finish the season out with the way it currently looks.
I don't touch Humphreys.
Why would you not?
Humphreys, you get better, man. We'll get you in when we need you.
Yeah, hopefully we don't need him.
Yeah,
I'm just a guy we brought along that played a few snaps, and that was it. But whatever.
I think, unfortunately, the outcast is one of the highest paid guys on the line. So,
yeah, it's
just that right tackle.
Crazy stuff. So, I mean, going forward now, into the playoffs, the most likely outcome for the Chiefs right now into that divisional round game would probably either be the Steelers again or the Texans.
Yep.
Just based on the matchups we're about to see in the wild card round. And I don't know, man. If you're either one of those teams that we just beat pretty easily for the most part, and now you're going to be going to Arrowhead and having to deal with that, like that's not good news for you if you're that team.
I mean, if you're the Steelers, you don't want to play them. If you're the Texans, you really don't want to play anybody. And quite frankly,
if you're the Texans, I mean, you went down when Tank Dell went down apparently, and C.J. Stroud was crying for an hour.
Let's be real; they were down way before that.
Well, yeah.
I mean, we're talking weeks here. Well, they got a couple nice wins, but I mean, they've been down.
Yeah, and that team has still been on the decline.
Yes.
For the last few weeks anyway.
It's been rough.
But yeah, the game the other day against the Ravens was pretty ugly. So.
Scott out here says official Chargers are in the playoffs, so apparently they're up by a couple scores. So, by the way, Tua is downgraded to out. There's no Tua for the Dolphins. There's no Anthony Richardson for the Colts. So those are 2 big teams that were needing some wins.
Yeah,
and then,
they're pretty much done at this point.
Scott says, by the way, you're welcome for Joe. So, because he was a Pat.
For Tooney, yeah. Hey, he's been a wonderful addition since day one. Mr. Tooney is awesome. Hey, he's played center for our team.
Yes.
He's played left guard terrifically, and left tackle he's meant to be there. It's like everyone's like, well, he's got short arms. I mean, I don't give a damn. Can he produce? Can he block?
Can he protect?
Because we got guys out here with monster arms. It doesn't seem to matter.
Hey, go look at that big paying guy that's in the Cincinnati organization.
I'll take the guy who's a technician of the craft and has shorter arms but can get the job done. I don't care.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things that people, when it comes to the draft process, sometimes scouts worry too much about those kinds of things, is the length and this and that. And I understand why it can work with the right coaching.
Can he block?
But not everyone can get to that point.
Can he block?
It's like sometimes the basics got to come back and do what really matters, the fundamentals of the game.
That's the beauty, is that we look for those guys that can play multiple spots, right? We had Wiley a few years ago who actually stepped in really well, surprisingly, after his second stint of starting, and then Reeder, who recently has joined also Washington, but he was the guy that could play anywhere you wanted to effectively. So, it's amazing the stuff that Veach and Reed find.
So, Jason, what are your thoughts as far as what we've seen over the last few weeks that we've missed, and just kind of going forward for the Chiefs team that you're hoping to see we can continue on with?
Well, I think my biggest concern against the Steelers was I didn't think we were going to be able to get to the quarterback without Chris Jones. I had some real concerns about that, and so that was like probably the most pleasant surprise for me of the whole game. And then you guys already talked about Hollywood Brown. I mean, when I look at the options that we have to throw to now, like it's not even fair anymore. I can't even imagine what it would be like if we had Rashee Rice with this group. I mean, even without him, dude, I just don't think it's fair when you're trying to play defense against us. But yeah, obviously, I'm just more than happy to see the offense coming along. Putting up some more points. Defense has been amazing. I think obviously we got a long way to go, but let's get rested up and let's keep nursing these injuries for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, the Chiefs are going to have at least 24 days of rest for the starters.
Do you think do we have any contract obligations that you know of that's going to have to be done on next week?
There could be
some money. I'd imagine some.
That's actually a good question. I have to look further into that.
So Pacheco, I know, is ribs, right? He'll probably be out. Chris Jones will be out, so those guys won't play.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I know last year we tried to get Kelsey involved for some bonus money, but he ended up sitting out.
I don't know that Kelsey has anything right now.
I'm hoping,
unless it's like 100 catches on the year, maybe he's one because he's close.
That might be it. So, but I think something to watch for next week is the contract stuff. Like get him in for a quarter, get what you need, and get him out.
I think for this team though, we had a bye week in week 6. And I think most of these veterans on this team are just like
they're done.
They're going to be like, we're going to have a mini vacation for 24 days before our next game. And this is not one of those teams, you guys, people out there be worried about there maybe your own team thinking out there that, we're going to get rusty or whatever. That's not the case with the Kansas City Chiefs and the way that this team's built and the structure that they've built over the years.
This team hasn't had a normal offseason in how long?
2018, man.
2018, yeah.
I mean, really.
I mean, not even 2018 we lost in the
in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, so it's not even normal offseason. Not even normal 17.
No,
17.
They're playing in February almost every year.
Yeah.
You guys aren't throwing Mahomes out there at all. You're just going to roll with Carson Wentz.
Yeah, and we still might win the game against the Broncos.
Yeah.
Even with Carson Wentz.
Yeah. No, I'm not a.
You're going to have Nico Remigio playing wide receiver. You're going to have a little bit of Samaje Perine. Carson Steele's going to get a lot of carries.
You should see some Justin Ross in there.
Justin Ross.
He should be in the mix.
I think Carson Steele gets like 15 or 20 carries in this game.
I think Samaje and him both actually get carries in this game here.
You still want to save Samaje because he's a great receiving back.
Yeah,
so
but I think
wear him down.
I think they still play him.
Yeah, play a little
bit in that mix there. But we're going to see a lot of backups too.
You almost wish for games like this you could expand the roster a little bit.
Are we going to see some Nick Jones on the defensive side?
That's a good question.
I think we should.
Have to act, but
everyone
on the practice squad should be playing in this game. Basically.
Nick was actually last week. He was on underdog as over under after Jamari Connor got hurt. So, that was something interesting there. So I'll probably see some Nick. We'll probably see some other guys. So, Peyton Hendershot's due to return, so you probably see him pop in the mix.
The Chiefs signed Robert Tonyan as well.
Yeah, he's on the practice squad still.
Hendershot, I'd probably play him for a game.
I think Hendershot gets the mix there over him right now.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see how that rolls, but
it's going to be fun because it's like in a way a preseason game in the final week, and it's more maybe not as much as Jason, but Mike and I enjoy seeing the young guys get out there and get in the mix.
Felix Inaduku-Uzama can play a lot of snaps.
Yeah,
he
had his sack last week.
He did. That was nice to see.
Dana coming in. I think Dana sits out because I don't want to injure him. Wharton sits out. I don't want to injure him. So you're probably playing guys. Yeah, got a lot of guys on the practice squad here, unless there's some near contract bonus money that they're going to get. So, and I don't see him past a quarter for that. So
yeah. Meanwhile, as of right now, Denver is going to be playing here in a few minutes against the Bengals.
Yes,
and so there could be some kind of a seeding implication based around that. But there's also a chance that game for Denver is also pretty irrelevant too.
I mean, if you're Denver, who would you rather face, the Ravens or the Bills?
I mean, yeah, it's those are
The Ravens you faced already
Right.
this season, and you scored 10 points and allowed 41.
yeah,
I'd rather
it's-
face the Bills than I
Yeah,
would the
you're
Ravens.
always going to face the Bills just because the Ravens they've really turned it up a
Their
notch
defense
on
looked a
defense in
lot
the last
better.
5 games, and so
Yeah.
I don't think anyone wants a part of them right now.
Yeah, that's kind of a pick your poison. I mean, 2 of the top 3 teams in the AFC kind of thing. You just good luck, basically at that point. So, but they've had a good season. We got to give
Yes.
Denver a little bit of
Yes.
credit for that. So,
Yeah, Denver's definitely picked it up. Sean Payton did a great job this season there, despite the $65 million dead cap of Russell
Mhm.
Wilson. So they did a phenomenal job with that.
well, I'm looking forward to it, of course. And man, it is kind of nice to have a few days away and get everybody ready, and that way confidently going into the playoffs
We
that
need
we're
that
100%.
rest, man. We need that rest.
That's what I mean. And
It's gonna be nice. We'll most likely get Watson back by then. By the time we play the divisional game, so
yeah,
it's gonna be much needed there for both
I
sides.
think so. I'll probably be in Iowa during that game up
Oh,
at
yeah.
Council Bluffs at Ameristar. I'll be staying the night there, a couple nights, unless there's a blizzard. You know how Iowa is. You never know what kind of crap weather is going to go through there. So, but for now we're all good. But let's jump over to kind of our playoff thoughts and implications that we're looking at right now. I am curious about the last couple teams in the AFC, how we see that playing out, and then in the NFC, there's still quite a few teams in the mix, as a matter of fact. So
there's not really.
no,
No,
we still got Atlanta.
Atlanta's
It's in the mix.
With
not
a lot
no.
of teams in
with-
the mix.
So
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Michael Penix did
well,
okay the other day.
hang on now, guys. Let's be real here, right? We're talking not wild card. We're talking playoff mix, right? So Tampa Bay and Atlanta, that winner of the division goes into the playoffs. There's no the wild card for them. Okay, there's no wild card for them. Seattle and the Rams. The Rams play later tonight against the Cardinals. The winner of that division gets in the playoffs. There's no wild card for either team. Okay.
Yeah, but you still have those 4 teams in the mix right now.
They're in the
Right.
mix for their division to get in the playoffs. The wild card's pretty much
Well,
set
that's why
between
we're
rotating.
going to discuss kind of who
Yeah.
we see
Yeah,
making it, basically,
yeah.
at this point with the current structure. I don't know if you guys have done the ESPN. Every year I used to do the ESPN,
Oh, you love those percentages, man.
the playoff little percent thing.
Yeah, you
plug 'em
love the
in and
percentages.
you see who ends up winning everything. That's always fun to play with. But like these days, as a Chiefs fan, I don't have to worry about it.
We don't ever. We don't ever talk
don't have to-
draft
I don't have to
either
worry about it
until
anymore.
March. So, all right. You want to start the NFC then?
Yeah. Who's in the NFC right now?
So
That is
tied for
in
the
the
one
mix.
seed is Minnesota, Detroit, and Philadelphia. Those guys are going for the one seed currently. Obviously, Philly is leading the charge of. They won I believe they won their division now because they beat Washington. So, or they beat Washington or lose?
Washington.
Yeah, last week.
Washington won.
So they still got to win versus the Cowboys and somebody else next week, but no Jalen Hurts today. So, but Philadelphia still compete for the one seed there. Detroit has to win it tomorrow against San Francisco, and Minnesota has Green Bay this week. So Minnesota is still in the mix for the one seed. Essentially, though, you got Minnesota and Green Bay, who essentially are the wild cards in that mix there. And Philadelphia and Washington in the mix for the wild card as well. Nobody else is going to get the wild card, but those 3, 4, 5 teams, whatever it is.
I think I agree with the playoff machine, so I just plugged in the information. And as of right now, they're going to have Tampa Bay in, the Rams in, Green Bay has that 7th seed, obviously, and Washington and Minnesota are going to be those
I
few
don't
teams.
know,
that are in
man.
there.
I think Cardinals are going to come out and try
Just-
to play upset.
I
They're going to.
can't get behind the Cardinals personally. I don't think that they're going to have the firepower, and I don't know. They got Seattle. Seattle is also currently 9-7. So that's another team to think about because Arizona's going to finish 3rd in that case. So
Saquon's 265 yards from Eric Dickerson's all-time rushing records. And there's the Botkins show in the comments, guys. Sad sack bunch right here. Appreciate you, Botkins. Thanks for the title game today, by the way, in the LTS in the LTS league. Appreciate you, buddy.
speaking of that, if you're Bodkins, you got to be kind of nervous because if you're the 7th seed, you go against Philadelphia in Philadelphia, and the number 2 seed, right out the gate. I don't know if I'm gonna be comfortable with that.
I mean, if Philadelphia loses to anybody else, I'd be uncomfortable with it. I honestly, for me, if I'm Green Bay, I'm not hating against playing Philadelphia.
No, only
especially
concern I would
this late in
have
the season.
if Jalen Hurts comes back and is fine. It's a concussion. He'll be back.
Yeah,
so
he'll
playing
be back
in
next
Philly.
week. Yeah.
We know that they can be an explosive offense, so that's what I'd be concerned about.
I mean, but you got the thing is too for Philly, like they got to play both weeks, right? They don't get a week off, so
Right.
they have to play for seeding.
most teams do have to
regardless.
play both weeks.
Yeah, except for the Chiefs. You know, we don't have to play.
That's right.
How about those Seahawks, man? They were straight fire in
Oh,
that
my
last game against the
God.
Bears, man.
What a disappointment that was.
Yeah, that's-
oh Lord.
I'm glad I didn't watch any of that game.
I didn't watch any of it either, but that was such a bummer.
And if you bet on that game, you lost your ass.
Well, yeah, Jackson Smith.
So-
Thanks for going over the 65 yards I needed. So, that was what a game that was. What a game that was.
Like I said, I'm glad I didn't get to see it. I was watching the score a little bit on my phone, and
I
had
was
better,
paying attention to
I
the
had
score too.
better
I'm like-
things to do than to worry about that game.
We were doing our pick'em show, and I didn't turn it on because I was having technical issues here, and yeah, I'm glad I had technical issues. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. So over to the AFC real quick, unless Jason, you have something in the NFC you want to discuss.
Not really. I mean, it's just kind of boring. I think is like you guys were saying. I definitely think the Rams are in, and I also like the Bucks.
Yep. I think we all kind of agree.
Yeah,
then for
the
that
Bucks
stuff.
for sure.
Other than how do you like Arizona on this, Tanner? Because
Today?
I just mean, yeah.
No,
well,
no,
you
no.
just
He
mean
said as a
Today,
spoiler.
as a spoiler.
for
They're,
today,
they're
okay.
already, they lost
gonna
last
say
week
they're
and
already
they're eliminated.
done
So.
with everything. Okay.
But I
misunderstood you.
like Arizona spoiling the Rams game today because that's going to force them now to play next week to win because Seattle won. So,
just for instance, if these remaining home teams win in the AFC, then going forward, it would be the Chargers at Buffalo and Denver at Baltimore for the wild card, and then Pittsburgh would play at
Texans,
Houston
yeah, which they got.
Or-
That's pretty much locked in.
for
So.
that. But what would be crazy about that is then, I mean, you're looking at for the Chiefs' sake anyway, facing either Chargers, Denver, or Steelers.
I love that.
I mean, I would take any of those matchups.
Hell, I'll take
with low
put the Texans in there too. Put the Texans in there too.
Texans are fine too because
I'll take all four of them.
yeah, I think really at the end of the day in the AFC it's a 3-team race.
I think
And
for
that's what's gonna
me
come down to.
personally, I don't want to play the Chargers or Broncos over the Steelers Texans.
I would be okay with either way.
I think probably the team out of those four, I'd probably want to avoid the Broncos more than anybody else.
Yeah, mainly because we'll say Bo Nix has done pretty good about ball control this year. Doesn't take a ton of sacks. I think he's got 22 sacks that he's taken on the year. So for me, Sean Payton's a good coach. He'll find ways to keep them in the game, in my
Competitive.
opinion. So
And if
that would
Bo
be the only
Nix-
thing I'd worry about.
And Bo Nix plays the easiest way, right? Don't turn it over.
Right, just don't turn over.
Just
and
turn it over.
use the run game, and hit your easy passes or whatever. So he's doing okay with that. So
All right.
that's kind of the way things look anyway at this point.
I'm
but-
I'm okay with that slate. I think so. I
See
mean, the
after this
Bengals
weekend.
obviously still have a chance, but they got to win out, and they need a little help. Colts need a lot of help, and the Dolphins need a lot of help. And no Tua, by the way, no Tua. He just got downgraded right before the show started. So the Dolphins lose, they're out essentially. Which right now they're in Cleveland too. I don't like their chances at all. It's supposed to be like 50, but still, I don't like their chances. And the Colts have no Anthony Richardson, so you got Joe Flacco leading the charge this week for that team there that needs a win desperately as well. So, yeah, I don't like any of that.
So you guys picking for this 3 p.m. game with Denver and Cincinnati?
I think I'm going Denver. We've seen Jamar Chase when he plays against good corners. Great corners, for instance, and I know Surtain will follow time to
Shoot,
time.
is T. Higgins still alive? He can do some work.
T. Higgins ain't alive. Shut up, dude. That's ridiculous. I think Joe Burrow still passes a shit ton, but for the most part, though, I like Jamar Chase getting shut down once again against a good corner, and I like Denver winning this game.
All right. What do you
Yeah,
got?
I would say since he picked Denver, then I will pick the Bengals, just because it's kind of a going against Tanner type pick. 'Cause He's
JG.
usually wrong on these. So
I was gonna say not to
I'm
Although
usually
this is
wrong
not-
on these.
This is not my easy money bet, by the way.
not
so-
to pile on Tanner, but I'll take the Bengals as well. So
You think Chase against a good corner? Have you seen him get against good corners?
Chase
He
is a
doesn't do
top
do
three.
jack.
Chase is
Dude.
a top 3 receiver.
He doesn't do jack against good
They
Yeah,
corners.
have you
can-
watched
they can-
Chase Brown this year? He's done a great job.
They
for
can
as a running
force
back.
feed. They can
It's
force
amazing.
feed. They can force feed Mike Gesicki, dude. They've got plenty of other options.
I gotta see here. Is Tanner
Tanner,
Hudson
you
playing?
act like Sertana's going to shut down anyone that walks out there, like Randy
No,
Moss
no,
or some
I'm not
shit.
saying that. I'm saying anytime Jamar Chase plays a good corner, he has issues.
Yeah, they can move him around. You, as a receiver, you can motion around and move.
Look what L'Jarius Sneed did last year. Move him around. Go ahead, all the back and forth.
I'm just saying, there's other options there. You
Plenty of other options.
You can use that against them, actually, by doing that.
We've seen this time in, time out of when Jamar Chase has to face an elite corner, and he's had issues. So
I don't think Denver has the firepower anyway to keep up with what Cincy can do.
I don't know.
So,
I think Denver in this one.
And they're good at running the ball this year, so they got something working at least. So I don't know. We'll see. It should be an interesting game.
Go place that over 90.5 for Jamar Chase right now.
I'm not saying anything about that.
Go place that over.
That's not at all what I'm saying. He doesn't need to get 90. He needs to get 70 and a touchdown. That's all he needs. So, all right. Well, as we had, I guess, are we ready? We haven't done one of these in quite a while.
Oh, is it time already?
See
here, Surtain will shadow from Scott. Jamar Chase had 1 catch for 9 yards against Surtain last time.
No, he'll make up for it this time.
I agree. Let's see here. Botkins out here. We wouldn't be the 7th seed. We either be 6th or 5th. That was about as bad as watching preseason. It was that Seattle game. Scott says, JG, you mean the Mariners White Sox game? Julio Rodriguez hit a grand slam to win that game, dude. You know, by the way, did you know that is the 3rd, I believe, game between Seattle and Chicago this year that has finished with that 6-3 score? The White Sox and Mariners finished twice. And now you got that Seattle Seahawks Chicago Bears game finished in 6.
So you're saying it's rigged, basically. It's fixed.
I gotta let Botkins know. If you go to the ESPN playoff machine and just sort the rest of the games by win percentage, the Green Bay ends up the 7th seed going to Philly. The 6th seed would be the Washington Commanders.
Would be
12-5 ahead of Green Bay. Minnesota would be the 5th seed as 14-2-1.
Correct. Yeah, Minnesota. Well, so honestly, Minnesota
Green Bay
would
be the 7th seed if based on win percentage.
Correct.
Going forward, the teams with the better percentage won the games.
Yeah.
Is what
that makes
playoff
sense.
machine is saying.
Yeah. So, and then he says, hope you all have a good rest of the Christmas. So, appreciate you, Botkins. Again,
I'm ready for the new year, man. I'm glad Christmas is over and I'm ready for New Year to roll around, man. I think it's going to be 2025 is going to be the best year of our lives, in my opinion. So, that's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, we ready to do this thing? I'll write it down later, guys. But we're gonna pop into.
Tanner, do you even have our up-to-date?
I do not. Nope. I just got this computer working late last night, so I do not. No.
All right. Well, I know I was doing pretty good, but I don't remember the exact number I was.
I'll get you guys updated numbers come next Wednesday. We'll be live then, and I'll make sure we're all updated. So.
All right. Well, let's get into the easy money bet of the week.
Bet of the week.
Oh boy. All right. Who's gonna start us off? Tanner, you want that?
Yeah, I'll start us off. Why not here, guys? Look, I'm not picking nothing today because it's upset city, apparently. So let's pop into tomorrow. We already got some NFL bets here. We're not no college football, guys. It's past that time to pick college football. I don't have any CFP bets either right now. So none of the games I really want to pick are until Wednesday, but I ain't gonna put it out there because I don't like the spreads. So.
Still got the vid, huh?
Damn.
Hey, still got a tiny cough, all right? Let's pop into it here. Once again here, Miami, Cleveland going at it. It's in Cleveland. And I know Cleveland's been bad, but now we have no Tua, possibly no Tyreek here upcoming as well. Give me Cleveland. You know, I'll do the +3. I won't do the money line. We'll go Cleveland +3. Right now, you can get the ESPN bet. Green Bay, Minnesota is going at it this week here as well on Sunday. I guess tomorrow. Give me the over 48 right now for Green Bay, Minnesota. And then finally on Monday Night Football to solidify the number 1 seed, give me Detroit -3.5 to wrap up that 1 seed in the NFC and take care of business. So those are my 3 bets I got this week.
Only 3 this week, Tanner, huh? Yeah.
It feels weird, man.
You do like 6 or 7, you know?
Well, I usually do 5.
Okay.
So, but I don't have any college football I don't want to throw out. Like, I got some games I like in the CFP, but I don't consider them easy money. So, I guess, what? Forget it, guys. I'm throwing one out here today, and I'll never do it again. for the rest of the season. Army -14 tonight. Go get it.
All right. Well, I only got one for you guys. I normally either do one or two, and so I just like one for this weekend here on Sunday. It'll be the game. We got Atlanta playing against Washington in this game, and Michael Penix's second game as a Falcon. And he played pretty well his first game. There was one interception. It wasn't his fault.
Carson Wentz could have played well against the Giants too, you know.
Kyle Pitts handed a ball to the opposing team. Pitts, and that's how Michael Penix got his first pick. Pitts had a ball thrown right in his hands. Pitts literally just hands it to the guy. Like, here you go. Here's an interception for you.
Kyle Pitts, man.
So that was pretty rough for the Falcons there. But no, I like the way they produced last week. They had some big plays. And Washington with Jaden Daniels has proven themselves time and time again this year. And the over-under on this one's 46.5. And I'll take the over on 46.5 on this one. And, guys, I don't think I've picked an over all year
you know
long.
what? I'll give you one better. How about 47, buddy?
That doesn't make any sense.
Over? Oh, you take
trying
over?
to take it. Yeah, over.
Oh, I thought you said under.
I was like, that's not better.
No, under 46.5. Yeah.
So I haven't taken over all year. It's been under like every time.
And you have not been well
and
on
so
the under.
I'm finally, for the first time this year, taking the over on a game.
That's what I'm weird. That's why I was confused.
46.5. Take the over on that game because I see this thing. First of all, the Falcons' defense still sucks despite the turnovers that they forced. They give up a lot of big plays, and Washington has just played phenomenal. I love the way Daniels has played. So I think Washington probably puts up a good 30-burger at least, while Atlanta puts up somewhere around 17 points. So just enough to get the over is all.
Okay, over. Okay,
over for sure.
All right, so I'm going to do same game, different bet.
Okay.
I believe in Michael Penix, as you were talking
Michael
about
Penix?
earlier. And this is a trap game, guys. So I'm going to go with Atlanta Falcons plus 3.5.
Plus 3.5.
I'm so glad I ended up not picking that game.
Man.
Total trap game.
I would've-
Washington's going to shit the bed.
I was going to go
Wow.
Washington minus 3.5 on one of my bets, and I decided to stay away from it. So I'm glad I did.
So you had Atlanta, or not even
He
winning,
has Atlanta
but covering, I
the
guess.
3.5.
Okay. Well, we'll
So
see.
you got the over. He's got the cover.
Yeah.
So
All right.
interesting.
Well,
Washington's a better
But,
team, but this is a total trap.
yeah.
all right.
Look,
Coming
hey,
to you.
I think you're putting too much stock into this Michael
See.
Penis stuff. So
Did
yeah,
you just
it's-
call him Michael Penis?
like 4
That's-
times.
That is
People-
disrespectful,
People need to quit
man.
disrespecting his name like
What
that.
the hell is wrong with you?
No, there was somebody else in our group chat that watches this show one time that also said that, and I thought that was pretty disrespectful, especially coming from
Wonder where he learned it
from a Bills fan, just to be talking that way about someone else.
Hey now, Josh Allen's an MVP caliber quarterback right now. Okay.
I changed my mind. Lamar's MVP.
No. Josh Allen's MVP caliber, guys. He's like 8th and 9th and 11th in stats throughout the whole time, but he had 5 really good games that show that he's MVP caliber. So
Yeah, I can't believe the disrespect. I mean, I know you want the Redskins to get their old name back, but calling that guy a penis is pretty. That's pretty bad.
Again,
man.
guys, Carson Wentz. Oh hell, you know what? Forget.
In fact, I want
I'll
your
let Duke
apology.
in.
Can you apologize right now?
I'll
that
let
was
Duke
very
in.
disrespectful.
I'll let Duke in.
What?
Would have looked good against the Giants last week.
All I know is Jason.
What the heck are you talking about?
You and I
Our
would have
practice squad.
never made fun of someone's name.
Oh
on the
yeah,
show.
you guys have never touched a person.
We have never done that. So
I think maybe one time I said West Brick, and then I promised I would
Oh,
never
okay.
do it again. But that's
Yeah.
a little bit different than penis.
Yeah, that's a bit far. Oh boy, we try to keep it PG on this show.
Hey
Tanner.
man, you know what? I'm all for it. I hope he has a freaking great game too, and now that he has to play a real team, and I want to see him do well. I want to see what Kirk Cousins has brought him. So
Yeah. Before we get out of here, did you guys watch the Chiefsaholics show yet?
I have not watched yet. I have not.
It's
watched.
pretty good, man. And if you guys watch
You
it,
said-
my Twitter will be on there.
You said Netflix last time. Is it on Prime?
It's Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Okay.
Yeah, but it's pretty good. It's a 2-hour-long documentary, but it's interesting. But yeah, they show my profile on there for about 5 seconds, and then they talk about my name, Casey Rockaholic.
Wow.
So
Man, you got big time.
yeah, real famous for about 5 seconds there.
Yeah, you should have been the next Adam Schefter.
I got
because you're
some-
just such an insider. Like
I got
that.
some followers because of that documentary on Twitter, so that's pretty interesting.
Wow. People actually followed.
Well, they showed my profile on there.
yeah,
but
I guess. Yeah, I guess
some
you get
guys out there
followed.
probably like, "I'll follow him." I don't know what he talks about, but
And then there you are in the crypto world.
yeah. But I just wouldn't recommend looking at my replies and all those kinds of things because
Hey, man, he's had some doozies in the past. Whew.
it gets interesting at times. You never know what my mind is on.
Hey, man, you have a bottle of whiskey, the Ron whiskey, and it's over. So,
Well, we're not going to be doing no whiskey anytime coming up here. So.
Watkins out here says we're going to win the next 2. So that's why he said the 5th or 6th.
Well, based on win percentage, though, he would technically lose. Who's he playing that's
They
right
got
there?
Minnesota.
So Minnesota, they're saying Minnesota would beat him.
Yeah, which
what-
they are going to beat them. So
So that's so he's just assuming a win over
he's
Minnesota.
assuming Green Bay's going to win, you know.
All right.
And then he said I failed on both shows because I said peanuts on their Pick'em show too. So Scott
man.
Cope says just saw Tony Pollard announced the flu is highly questionable play. Nobody cares. Titans don't care.
The Titans are a shitty team.
Titans are awful.
That's
Scott
terrible.
Cope said Michael Penix just got engaged. He's up in his happiness. My bad, dude. I'll call you penis next week. Scott Cope said Dorian Thompson-Robinson would look good against the Giants. That's true, man. I tell you, DTR would too. I honestly, Scott, I bet you look good against the Giants right now. So, and that says a lot. So, that's how bad the Giants are, guys.
Yeah, that's rough stuff. I try to just not even watch those teams, honestly.
It's so
Like teams like the Giants and Titans.
But
Like, I
usually,
don't want to watch that
usually
stuff.
that's like where I got the most bets at, and that's where I gotta like pay attention because I'm like, oh, where are we at with it? Yeah, Mike, I want to congratulate you in finishing last place in your.
I think it's the
fantasy
first
league.
time I've ever done that.
I think so.
That's pretty
I think so.
impressive.
I don't think I've ever done that.
I think I've done it.
Oh,
My
yeah,
worst.
you did do that.
No,
one
you've
time.
done it
I-
multiple
I remember.
times.
Yeah, but
You're
I
thinking
remember.
about your own team.
No,
you
you've done
I
it
remember
multiple
what you
times.
did.
That must have been the year I got married or
The-
something.
the
Because
good
I
old-
remember the year I got married, I just
It's
stopped
probably
inserting
the
my
year you had your
starters.
daughter.
It was a strategy, dude. It was the strategy.
The butt fuck strategy
Yeah.
years.
I never came in last.
You did.
did.
Yes,
I'll
you
bring it
did.
up. I'll pull it
I
up.
won the 11th place game, actually.
I'll show you. Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah,
Hey, I won it too, so I'm not in last place. So Mike and I finished 11th and 12th now.
have to,
So
go back to the drawing board next year.
after
I
I
guess.
finished first and second. So what are you playing for third then?
Playing for
right
third.
now?
Playing for third, yep.
Yeah. Hey, that's still a hell of a year. After winning last year to
Yeah, I mean,
third?
it's frustrating, but, you got to understand there's a luck involved, so you can't just have the best team and expect it to be handed to you. That's not how it works.
That there is. I mean, look
Yeah.
at Mike. He drafted nothing past the 10th, 11th.
You're right. I had a lot of picks in the
Nothing
first
past
few
the
rounds,
10th, 11th out of 22.
and it was just a disaster from the beginning.
22. So
It was a disaster.
I'm in a fun story here, right? So speaking of Nick Botkins, so we were in our sleeper for the LTS league, right? And I wasn't due to make the playoffs. I was just short, right? And Nick's like, "Why are there buys?" Like he was complaining to me about why there buys. He goes, "Just add 2 more teams." So I had 2 more teams. Well, I made the playoffs. I already traded a lot of my depth pieces for draft picks in that league, right? So I don't have nothing really past the 10th. I think I have a couple past the 10th. And this is a 18 round league, right? So I got a lot of picks in the third, a lot of picks in the fifth, similar to our league. I'm currently playing for the championship
Hey.
right now.
Yeah, nobody
the way it
cares about
goes.
your fantasy team, but let's end the show.
Championship, baby.
Hey,
and
let's
all
end it.
thanks to Nick Botkins himself.
Seriously,
Oh, good
our
Lord.
viewers are dwindling while you're telling that story faster than the NBA. But let's end the show
Ah,
the way we
just
usually
gained like
start
3,
it
dude.
by talking about what we're drinking on right now.
It is
I've got
Saturday
the,
midday, so
Yeah.
we might as well get crazy.
I've got the Wienenstaffner from Germany.
Yeah, there you go, Wienenstaffner. Tanner's got a little Joko juice.
Get a little Joko juice representing here.
I don't even know what I'm drinking here. This is something Drecker. I've never heard of it before.
I've never heard of that.
I don't know. You guys ever tried those Delta drinks?
Yeah, I did.
THC in there?
I did try a Delta last weekend.
What'd you think of that?
Oh, man, that thing.
Did you
hit.
get high? Did they
That
make you
thing-
high?
that thing
I'm gonna
hit.
have to try that.
What'd you
That
do?
thing
Did you go to
hit.
bed afterwards or what?
No, I stayed up.
And what?
And
Play
then
with
I
yourself?
went to bed like 2 hours later.
Did they give you the munchies?
No.
They
I
don't
did
give you
not-
the
I did not
munchies?
get any munchies. No.
Oh.
But
Is that 10 milligrams in there
I-
or something?
yeah, it was a 20.
20,
It
okay.
was a 20. So
Hmm.
I wanted to go to bed, but I knew if I sat there and did nothing, I would be in trouble. So I played video games.
Yeah.
And that was a trip, man. I was a little worried I was going to die all the time, but I didn't.
Oh.
So
Yeah, it's one of those, just keep it to yourself. If you think you're going to die, don't tell anybody.
no, not die like
Oh.
me, like on the video game
Oh,
itself.
on the video game.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
But I was definitely experiencing it. So
interesting. All right, well.
yeah, no, those are. I think I'd rather stick to the 10s. So
Very nice. All right, well.
I'll have to
Okay.
try. I'm going to try one
You
of
should
those.
try
Well,
one.
I'm going to wait till next time we get on the party bus to
Party
Is
bus.
that what it is?
the party
Party
bus to
bus.
Topeka if they ever bring
Well,
it
we
back.
are going to Vegas in May, so maybe out there you can have one of those.
They probably sell it at the ABC
Oh,
store.
they got all kinds
Yeah,
of
but you
crap
gotta do the
out there.
drink, dude. Don't do
No, I'll
anything
do the
else with
drink.
the drink. Yeah.
Well,
I'll
no,
do
here's
the
the thing. If you're gonna drink one, don't drink alcohol with it.
Don't do
just,
yeah.
just do that.
I,
is what
that's
I would
all
say.
I didn't do drink
I
alcohol.
wouldn't combine the two things. I would just do
No.
one or the other if I was you.
Because that thing, I mean, like when I was texting Mike, it hit in 15 minutes, like easy.
It says on the can it'll be 15 minutes.
I
think.
didn't read the can, of course.
Okay.
So.
I think my main goal on that whole trip is just not to get kicked off the airplane by the sky marshal. If I
Yeah.
can accomplish that, it's going to be a successful trip.
Or if you do, make it on the way back, not on the way there.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
All right, boys, I gotta go put in some more wood here on for my meat and get my ribs on. So.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see you in 2025. So get ready for the best year of our lives.
All right, catch you guys.
Outro.
See you all on the next one.
See you guys.